Remember how I said we needed some water carriers? We've brought in a couple, and we may have called some old friends. Now, I wanted to bring you back to before we kind of start doing some transfers. I mean, there's only 12 days left of the transfer window, but I just want to show our transfer budget of 816,000, and particularly the part in the text bullet that says next season's minimum guaranteed budget will be 2.91 million, which I find a bit interesting because that's not a lot, and especially in comparison to what the club has sold this year and really bought this year. But maybe that's why. Maybe it's like we sold some players and then brought some in. Also, we are about, what is that, 35 grand under the wage budget currently, so we got a little bit of wiggle room. I don't often go to the projection. I don't know, does anybody ever look at like profit, loss, expenditure, turnover? Maybe if you're worried about FFP or whatever. The transfer budget estimate is not 2.91, so I'm not sure what that is all about, but we've made it work because there was a bit of surprise along the way. In particular, Matthias Braunoder was sold to Lazio for 19.5 million, rising to 26 million, and I think it was based on him getting to 20 appearances or something like that. As you can see at this point in the save, he's got 19 appearances, literally like the next day or something like that. We get the remaining, whatever that is, 6.5 million. It didn't all end up in the transfer budget. Like, I'm sure there's some sort of, 75% of the transfer revenue will come back to us. So we got an additional 5 million, which was rather important when you're trying to let's I want to strengthen the squad so that we finish the season strong, but I also don't want to overcommit. I personally don't love that when you change clubs, it's like your manager forgets everything, like from a scouting standpoint. I understand that the manager probably isn't looking at every scout report, but it's like, oh, I have that player on the short list. You'd think I'd take a copy of the report for the plane ride, from South Korea to Austria. Because obviously there's probably a ton of direct flights. I don't know, maybe not. But anyway, going back to when you look at transfers out 36.5 million, transfers in 20.5 million. Now, is that exclusively because they sold, 17 and 19 and a half, 35 and a half of that up front in July, and that was able to be reinvested? Maybe. The previous season, it was 13 million out, 13.25 million in. And the season before that, 10 million out, 8.75 million in. So it comes across as very selling to buy, that type situation, which is fine, except this one season where, boom, we sell 36.5 million. That's lovely, but I don't know if that's sustainable long term. Now, I don't do a lot of loans normally in saves, but in a bind where you only have a week and a half or whatever to bring in some squad depth, loans seem like a good idea for that squad depth. So the first one we have brought in is an injured player, as you do. Sotiris Alexandropoulos. I didn't practice that. I'm sure you can't tell. He's a ball-winning midfielder. Could, in a bind, play a box-to-box midfielder. He can't really finish to save his life, but the rest of it's actually pretty good. His acceleration and pace is pretty good. We are getting him from Modena. He's a 3-star. We've paid essentially 6.25K, which is a 50%, or I think of it, whatever that percentage is, a little less than 50% of his wages. And we do have an optional future fee of 1.9 million. They were trying to just sell him for 1.9 million, and I was like, hey, what if we do a try before you buy? He's 27, so he's not aging out to where you'd go no, because again, look at those physical stats. So I'm kind of hopeful that he could be one of those potential bargains we pick up in the summer if he performs well. He's got a twisted ankle. It's only for the next 2 weeks. And as you can tell, he's 6 on the depth chart when it comes to straight up midfielders. Our right back is somehow second, which is a curious discovery, I would tell you. But overall, I'm pleased. We brought in another midfielder. Remember, I said the spine. We were worried about the spine of the team. Sotiris solves one of those problems. I'm going to go ahead and reveal Kim Joo-hyun. Yep, we knew he had a 1.6 million euro release clause. Apparently, I didn't forget that with all my scouting knowledge. And the reason I'm doing this is because on the right sidebar, kind of above my head here, there is other players, and he shows up in one of the other players, if that makes sense. So I'm gonna try and like slowly reveal the team to you. We don't want to like we want you to stick around, right? Like, come on. I was thinking we need a player that plays in the middle of the park, who can play a center back, who can play a DM, and I literally went, wait a minute, I had a player or two like that at FC Seoul. So we've signed Kim Joo Hyun. Now, my friends, am I worried that he will be pulled up for military service and this will end up being a rather short term buy because he'll just disappear at some point? I don't know. I think at some point I remember Son Heung-min getting a pass on that, but that was because like they won the Olympics. Like it was a high enough level of achievement. I'm not sure if like reaching the Europa League in Austria counts, but I guess we'll find out. But I digress. For now, he plays center back, DM, and right back, and he's 19, and we paid 1.6 million, and he's worth 5.4 to 9. Now, that's also representing a bit of a problem because his agent demanded a buyout of 6 million that expires 2 years from now. So, is it long that he will even be here? He's already valued at almost 6 million, which is a bit of a surprise to me. I didn't expect that. I was just going like, hey, solid youth prospect, good player. He does want regular starter minutes. We'll sort that out as it's only for 6 months. Like, we'll figure it out as we get there, but I'm pretty happy to have him join us. And then we signed Wilfred Ndidi on loan from Leicester. The last 6 months of his contract, it's kind of harsh, maybe. Maybe he just wanted to play, but it's like his time with Leicester is coming to an end. He has been there forever, and then they loan him out at the end. To be fair, he'd only played once this season in the league, and that was a substitute appearance. It did say he's had a problem with injuries. He fractured his lower arm, but that was last year, and it was only for 5 weeks. So, like, his career's already kind of coming to a close, but it just thinks, like, this guy's like a legend for Leicester, and in the last 6 months of the contract, they're like, go on, get out of here, go to Austria. But he said yes. Had I scouted him extensively? No. Did I know enough about Wilfred Ndidi that he was on the loan list? And I was like, that's interesting. Yes. So he plays anywhere in the spine of the team, which is good, except striker. Not exactly like exceptional at being a center back. He definitely is more of that midfield player. 32 years old, just turned 32, so he's not like ancient, says the guy who's much older than that. But again, not an exceptional player. A 6-month loan, though. We are paying 24 grand a week for a squad player. That's more like regular starter pay at our club. But I think to shore up with some experience, he's still got the 16 work rate. I think he's still a good pickup, considering we didn't have a lot of time to do a lot of scouting. I'm sure there are better players out there, but not expecting a whole lot. Willing to take squad player minutes. Didn't have to pay a transfer fee. Easy. And last but definitely not least, we have brought the Irishman, Alex Murphy. We're essentially helping FC Seoul by removing one of their foreign players from the roster. You know, that's essentially what's happened here. It is a loan. We are paying a loan fee, though, for Alex. We're paying 20K a month. So essentially, what is that? Like 5K a week on top of his 6,500 a week, which is fine. And we have an optional future fee of 850 grand. They wanted 1.6 million. So it's almost like, I think the entire loan fee said it would be about 195. Let's just round up, call that 200. So we're paying like 1,050,000 if we decide to buy him. I'm not convinced we will, to be completely honest with you, because once he got here, he's a 2.5 star to 3 to 3.5 star. But on a team that didn't have a backup left back, I mean, obviously we have the 54 players in the reserves. I can't wait to see, because obviously I'm recording this before I see the comments on that episode. I'd love to know why. But there's nobody who's at his level that we could just slot into the left back position, or the backup left back position, if you will. So I think he brings some good depth. It gets him back into Europe, so it's a good move for his career. And overall, he's got pretty decent attributes for our level. Again, 2.5 star, 3 star potential. If you look, oh, I guess you can't see. It's behind my head. But also can play in a team, like this is what I was looking for versatility. I knew I needed a left back, a backup left back, and I knew I needed center backs and midfielders, or DM midfielder, that whole situation. And so Alex covers the left back and potentially in a bind the center back situation. Ndidi covers the midfield and in a bind the like center back situation. And then Kim Joo-hyun does the DM, center back, and in a bind, right back. I think those are really good pickups. And then Sotiris, being the last one, because this is the last transfer, is like the midfield. So like I think I'm really proud of this, to be honest with you, to bring in, what is that? 1, 2, 3 loans and 1 cheap signing, but a player that we knew when you don't have your scouting set up. I think that's good business to try and set us up for the rest of the season. And importantly, it's left us 2.7 million in the transfer budget. So again, we had that 800, and then we had the money come in from the player that went to Lazio, and we spent 1.6 million on Kim Joo-hyun, and then the loan fee or whatever, the 200 grand for Alex Murphy. So we've still got a little bit of wiggle room. Now, does that mean that the club, when we get to the summer, is only going to add 200,000 to that? I don't know. But we've adjusted the wage budget, so we're now at 377, 378 in spending. But I'm pretty pleased with this. Just a quick interjection here, my friends. I have given up on the mic hanging here. I'm sure you're like, where did the mic go? But the whole reason I got the mic stand was to avoid, like, when I hit my desk or click, that you could hear it. So now the mic is actually here. It's like hanging down at an angle. We're just letting gravity do its thing, and it's now in a position. I've adjusted the gain down because, again, the last 2 episodes I've recorded on this channel kind of got blown out on the top end because it was getting too loud or too close to the mic. But if this is working and it sounds fine, love to hear a comment from that. I do want to give a shout out to my patrons. If you're interested in supporting the channel, it's patreon.com/grayhairgaming. I am now trying to do content creation as the way I make money. So if you enjoy this content in the build up to FM26, I'm going to have a lot of stuff coming out. You should see some more stuff about the U.S. men's national team. There's an experiment coming very, very soon on this channel. I'm working on it right now. Actually, yeah, I think by the time you see this, I'm still working on it. I will not have released it yet. But it's coming soon. But I did want to say thank you to those that are currently supporting me. And other ways you can help the channel, even if you're not financially, is a like, a comment, watching the video all the way through. I know mine tend to be a little bit longer. That shows YouTube that this is interesting content, and that can lead to it showing it to other people. And then last but not least, sharing it with somebody else that you happen to know that likes Football Manager. So a little bit of a GHG ad break. Let's get back to the show. Show? Content? Is it a show? I don't know. Now, we played our 2 friendlies and they went poorly. We lost 3-1 after scoring in the 2nd minute against Celje, the second place Slovenian team. And then we drew. We came back to draw against Zagreb Lubin. Easy for me to say. 3-3. The team has no idea how to play a vertical Tiki-Taka or a Tiki-Taka. And we take on Vienna, which is in the 2nd Liga below us today. That's what I'm going to show you. We've already had some injuries. So Malic, not sure, has the flu and is going to be out for another week. The flu has kicked his butt. Wuthrich has decided to retire, but at the end of the season, that doesn't really surprise me. 34-year-old guy going thanks. It was reconsider retirement. I was like, no, that's fine. You're going to free up 12,000 in wages, and we can go get somebody who's not going to be 35 next season. And then Augustin Ojeda, I think is how you do that, has a gash lower leg. He's going to be out for a couple more days, but it does actually rule him out, kind of disappointingly, of this tie. Normally, if I was playing a 2nd division team in a cup, I would rotate. This is still about establishing our tactic. So I've left the team as is, except I have put Wilfred Ndidi in at center back. I think he, for some reason, he's actually ever so slightly better rated, even though he's the dark green dot, than Alex Murphy. And then Sotiris obviously is, he's injured, so he's still injured. Kim Joo-hyun has just come off of, I think, World Cup qualifying or something like that. It said he when he showed up, he needed a rest. He was on international duty, so I don't know why he needed a rest, but maybe it was the travel. Moving is complicated, I guess, when you're moving from South Korea to Austria. I have also gone back to, because this is what the manager knows, and we now, I feel have a little bit better team to be able to handle this. I noticed that Tomi Horvat is actually pretty good as a 10. I was thinking he was definitely better as just the midfield advanced playmaker. But considering we have a ton of attacking midfielders, that primarily play on the wings, but also could play in the middle. It seems very similar to what we had set up. So I've gone back to essentially the tactic that I had at Seoul. And that's going to be the 4-2-3-1. It's also very, very, very helpful that Mika knows a complete forward. Oh, speaking of complete forwards, I did call Svetkovic, and I was going to pay the 2.5 million. You can see that we had that left in the transfer budget, but he wanted, it was crazy. It was too much. It was too much for right now. It definitely felt like you're putting a round peg into a square hole, or like forcing the issue, where he wanted to be like a star player or at least a very important player and make like 26 grand a week. He's already making like 23 grand a week, which is fine. But I thought it was a bit of a stretch right now because star rating wise, he's about the same as Mika. And then I didn't want to have an issue where now we had Mika upset about all of that. So I've left that potentially for the summer if he's still available, because I do think he's quite good. I did sell, I guess I showed this and didn't kind of talk through it. I sold a player. Where did he go? Do your second team transfers not show up in the regular transfers? Because we sold Cameron Allen out of our second team for 1.5, rising to 1.8 million. About to sneeze. Oh, sneezing when your ribs are severely unhappy is bad. He was a 4-star potential, 1.5-star current ability. Could have worked out. I didn't really love the mentals. He's 19. Like, when I compare him to Svetkovic, I was like, you're telling me I can get 1 point, I think it was like 1,850, right? 1.85 million. And I could turn around and buy Svetkovic for 2.5. Obviously, a dramatic difference in wages. But I went, we're trying to like free up some money, so let's go do that. But now is that how that, like, sure, or is this just where like my edition of the game, I don't know what, maybe it was like something when I updated the name files, right, to get the real team names, doesn't show him here, which seems strange. Like, there's not a, anyway, instead of showing you my confusion, we sold another player. That's how, if you're like, well, that math doesn't work out, that's how we got there. And as you can see here, not familiar with the tactic at all. The passing style is awkward. Maybe they're used to faster passing rather than like or like regular length passes, and same thing with the tempo. I'm sure that won't come up to bite us. Look at the, oh dear, what are we doing? What are we doing? Always good when no one responds except one player to the team talk. Fantastic. Fantastic. Let's look, because I've not, this is, I guess, in at Vienna's stadium. So they're 3-1-1 in their last 5, and we are 2-2-1. But yeah, we had the whole friendly new manager situation here. Pretty small stand. Again, you might be like, why are we watching this? You're going to smash this team. Are we? We're not technically familiar. They get the first shot of the game. Fantastic. We're 10 minutes in without a highlight. Also good. Exactly like you would expect a third place team in the first division of a league to not be beating a second division team because they don't know how to play the manager's tactic. Oh dear. Okay, long ball. Okay, that's our center forward coming to play extremely deep, like behind the 10 in midfield. He's pulling a Harry Kane. Why did I attempt that? Verachnig. What a name. Okay, they win the ball back. We have a guy who's not on the bench today, but his name's it's his full name. It's Aaron Sky something, and I'm like, that's okay, interesting. I love that. Okay, we're not going to press. We're just going to let the second division team, okay, pass themselves into trouble. We pass it backwards. Maidson, Bello, Olawoyen. Oh, it's on the floor. Oh, keeper. Oh, he took the man out. Oh, I haven't even looked at the why would I look at the penalty takers? Tommy Horvat, our tied for second leading goal scorer on the season with 6. Slots it home past the keeper. Did the keeper, I guess, take the man out? I would like to see in FM26 more of the highlight of the foul versus it's going to show us the highlight of the penalty. Because that's what happens in real life, right? You get lots of like, oh, did he actually trip him or was it a dive? Doesn't matter. We've got the 1-0 lead that we desire. Okay. I would like to see us create. That's great. That was, I guess, some creation putting it in on the end line there. Rifled shot from the left winger. Indeed, takes his time. George Bello. Looks like they're taking like full kicks, but like dinking it to the player next to them. Interesting. Bello, heavy touch. Rifled. It somehow falls to Ibrahim. And he nets it. Yeah? Did that come off of the keeper? That happened so fast my brain couldn't process. Okay, this is kind of what I was hoping, but again, you go, we're trying to be, we're building up familiarity with this tactic, so this is a really good time. Okay, yeah, keeper did stop it. I couldn't tell if it was the keeper or the post. He's upset. Keeper's upset. Is he upset at himself or his team? I'm not sure. Is he like, I made the first save. Why weren't you, blocking the runner from the deflection? Not sure, but we'll take it. Maybe this will boost confidence. Again, we've got a nice little run. This is like, ooh, lovely ball there. Stankovic is there, though. And then that's a terrible attempt of a pass, but we win it back. Yikes. And that's another terrible. We're still getting used to. It is raining, so maybe the much shorter passing, we should go a little bit longer at halftime to, the ball's not going to roll as much on second division pitch. Not a penalty. Oh, it comes right back. Oh, good save there, Danil. I'm not going to try that one. Okay, set piece. Over. Lovely stuff. Hey, our fans show up. That's different. And we're using, I just noticed, obviously, the orange ball. I guess that's the winter ball. Tall cross in. Bello can't get to it. It's a goal kick. Okay, fair. Boy, I was asking for highlights. I thought 2-0 we'd get to halftime, but let's see. Wilfred Ndidi. Let's go, baby. Bello. Ibrahim. Diembu. Mamadi? I've got to learn every time. You got to learn the player's name, so I apologize if that is awkward for your ears. Nicholas Maidson. I'm going with that until I get comments on the first real episode and everyone goes like, this is how you say this, this is how you say this. I think that's right. I think I got that one. Oh, that's a terrible touch, Mika. My goodness. Goodness me, that was bad. Okay. Long ball. 3 guys cover 1. As you always love to see from your defensive setup. We missed the runner. Oh, what is the keeper doing there? Is this why this guy wasn't playing? That was poor. Yeah, that was like at an angle from a long distance. It looked like he just used his toe. Did he slip? That's. It says it blasted it to the top corner. That wasn't the top corner. That was the bottom corner. It's the other vertical aspect of this. Another highlight. Keeper dropped from a 7.2 to a 7.0. Nice interception there, Tommy. Okay, they're getting back into their shape. Another long ball. Bello there with the overlap, underlap. That looks very similar to FC Seoul. That's what you want to see. Ball in on the floor with some pace on it. Mika smacks it home. I don't have the over-underlap on. I guess George is he's feeling it. He's just feeling it. Let's go. That takes him from a 6.6 to a 7.6, and Mika jumps to a 7.5. I think that's a solid first half. I think the most disappointing thing is unless there's something I'm not understanding about goalkeeping, that seems really, really poor. I always click through and then go, oh, I didn't look at the stats. We are dominating possession. I think I'm going to mention that. Ooh, and the 2.94. We've created loads, lads. I am with the rain. I don't know. Do you adjust in your tactics to the weather, or do you just go like, nah, that'll be all right? I think we're gonna leave. Oh, got some complacency. Don't love that. I think we're gonna leave as is. Again, this is partially like let's make sure we get through, and partially let's build up our tactic here. 2.99 XG now on 3.08. We are rifling shots at them. Okay, our right back is suddenly wounded. Feels he could shake off the knock. I don't love that. I wish it would mention that like more brightly, or be like, hey, you have a player hobbling around who's also your starting right back. Set piece. Oh, that is our right winger stepping back in the defensive side. He's not bouncing back. To on the deflection, avoid that. That is excellent. So we're going to bring on our 5'5" Solomon Bona. Did I look at the substitution rules? Yes. Did I look at it for the cup? No. That probably doesn't surprise you. But we're doing it's 3-1. I think let me go make some changes. I think since we're mostly concerned about the middle of the park, we're gonna sub there. So Alex Murphy's gonna come on for Stankovic. We'll move Ndidi, who's right-footed, to the right side, and Baumgartner is gonna come in for Maidson, who is being complacent, and then obviously Bona for the injured right back. We've got some guys that can come into the attacking third, but the attacking third's doing all right now. Boving is complacent, so I don't love that, but the guy that would sub in for him is also complacent. The other one is actually a striker, so we'll see how this little run-in goes. Tommy Horvat, how you doing, son? How you doing? That was lovely. That was lovely. A little set piece action in the rain. Love this angle. I mean, and it skimmed off of the underside of the bar, I believe. That was good, I think. But we also, it's like, we don't want to wear the guys out, right? So we'll go ahead. Mika comes off. We got complacency all over the place. And we'll bring in... Sure, you have 0 match sharpness. That makes sense. I did say it was the exact same tactic as Sol. I've actually made the 10 advanced playmaker on attack and the right winger inside forward on support, primarily because the starting players that I've got right now, Horvat is better as an attack in comparison to Boving, or however you say it. They come in. Whoa. Who deflected that? That was either 13, who was our left winger, Ibrahim, or the keeper got a fingertip to it because it ends up as a corner. Bona tried to head that. Look at how tiny he is. Oh, the tiny little man. I'm 5'5". Wowzers. We had another player in the reserves that was 5'5", and I was like, what is happening? I was gonna praise, but let's get through the. Here we go. Let's get through this before we start praising people. Okay. Oh dear. That's the match sharpness coming through, or not. You can pass it around. We got a 3-goal lead. That's fine. Oh, okay, they're coming down. He's so tiny. The tiny little man. Oh, of course. Now I can't praise. Because we just let them lull us to sleep, I guess. We don't need to watch it again, I guess, to save your precious viewing time, but goodness gracious. Oh, are we really gonna do this, FM? Are we really gonna have... Okay, good save from the keep. 7.3. Does it go up after that save? 7.5. It was a good save, apparently. A zipped ball in at the height of Solomon Bona. That second half a bit disappointing, but again, we're working on the familiarity. I'm not going to get all up in their grill about that. We're going to remain positive. We're building. They don't know who we are, right? They don't speak German. And I do think it's funny when you bring in a player from a club you just managed, and you get a question in the press conference that essentially says the coach that I brought in, Otto Addo, will you be relying on him because he speaks South Korean? And it's like, I managed him. He knows me and I speak South Korean. Anyway, that's where we're going to end it, my friends. I will bring you back for the RB Salzburg game, which is right before the league splits. We'll see kind of how we're, how things are going before the split. We also have coming up the Cup semifinal, but there will be several games. I'll go back and look at last season. There's a bunch of games, not a bunch, I guess. There's like 3 or 4 maybe games with the split or right at the split before we get to that Cup semifinal. So that's kind of what I'm thinking from a content standpoint. Get us to the split, get the tactics established, and then show you maybe the semifinal, see how the rest of the season looks. And then we'll get to the summer and see how that's going. But if you've enjoyed this, hit the like button like I talked about. And we'll see you in the next one. See ya.